Aberdeen on any morning of the week. The time, say 6 or 7 a.m. Since the small hours, the trawlers have been coming in. So now, though early in the day, it's quite late in the proceedings, which, with true Scottish concentration, are entirely devoted to fish. And it's not only the human species who have an eye to business. The grandstand's full. Before the rest of the world's had its breakfast, the business begins of marketing tomorrow's. The auction is on. Events move briskly. Everyone concerned is as keen as the morning air. They know their men, they know their market, and all they need to know about fish. First, catch your fish. But there's more to it than that. You have to transport it. And for Aberdeen, that means far and wide. We're the boys of the fish run. Our target every day is Manchester, 350 miles away. Every day our lorries do the trip and back the next. The whole round trip for each lorry, 3 times a week, a total of 2,100 miles. It's the finest test you could choose for a wagon. That's why some time ago they chose it for a very special kind of test. A new type of diesel fuel injector pump made by CAV had passed its laboratory tests. What would it behave like on the road? I know very little of what happens inside this pump, but every driver knows that on the pump beneath him as he drives, performance depends. All I cared about was that it wouldn't let me down, for mine happened to be one of the vehicles chosen. 350 miles may not sound much in these days of jet aircraft, but on the ground, in all weathers, it's a different kettle of fish. To be precise, a 10-ton wagon load of fish, to be driven through the afternoon, the evening and the night, from the northeast down through the heart of Scotland, over the border, down over the hills of Westmorland, and on to Manchester before 6 a.m. next morning. Down in the fish market, all is quiet. The fish has been caught and loaded. Our job is to get it away, efficiently, on time. For this is Aberdeen, where nothing is wasted, including time. 3 p.m. So if you'd like to see the route, we're due to be away once more. Our last glimpse of the sea at Stonehaven. Now, lovely farms and fertile country, down towards Fordoun and Lawrence Kirk, with Black Angus cattle in their natural setting. Takes one Scot to recognize another. Brechin, and the first 40 miles behind us. 15 more and it'll be time for tea. For down below Forfar is the cafe where we always stop. And that's the sign we've been waiting for. Through the royal borough of Forfar, And a little way below the town, break number 1 will be coming up. It's now somewhere round 5:30. It won't be a long break. Time for a chat and a cup of tea. Need I say that on the first few runs, the pump came in for its share of the conversation. A level enough road down through Glamis and skirting Kirriemuir, where Barry was born. A pleasant run, in daylight, in summer. Peaceful too, till the fish run goes through. Still, we've been doing it for a good many years, and by now our lorries are almost taken for granted as part of the scenery. Used to us, for example, in the town of Cooperangus, though this time they've given me an unscheduled stop. "12 or 13 miles to the south lies Perth with its hills and its legends. It's a lovely sight, is the Valley of the Tay. One of these days, I tell myself, I'll take a lorry driver's holiday, probably by coach. Do the job properly and stay a while." In the meantime, our concern is the fish run. Aiming for Manchester, and we're not yet a quarter of the way. So you'll understand why I've never had the time to visit the Palace of Scone, for example, though it lies just a little way off the route. And why I've never stopped in Perth, though I assume we're welcome just the same. The fair maid herself couldn't have looked fairer than does Perth when the sun shines. So now we're away over the hills of Perthshire that lie to the south. A good stretch, that. But there's no doubt you're still in Scotland when you see a name like that. It's a pleasant town, quite gracious with its long, wide main street. And of course, the fish run has its audience. It's famous country round here with names more widely known, perhaps, than Auchterarder. When you see those firs, for example, you know you're near Gleneagles. A few more miles and you recognize the curling lake at Green Loaning. Then you know you've about 10 more miles to Stirling. Stirling Castle. Now there's a piece of Scottish history the eye can't miss. And on certain ceremonial occasions you can still hear the guns resound.
Number 2!
Bridge of Allen. And was there ever a prettier name? or come to that, a prettier little place. When we see the Wallace Memorial on the mound, we know that in a matter of minutes we'll be in Stirling. It's a splendid town, but no stopping place for us. Straight through and out, very soon passing another piece of history on the right. Now we're in Lanarkshire, with Glasgow not many miles away. A few of its fingers reach out this far and we get a touch of industry here and there. But if you think of Lanarkshire as some dirty place filled with heavy industry, then wait a while, for the fish run will prove you wrong. Forgive the haste, but it's around 7:30 and 18 miles south of Stirling is our immediate target, with a hot meal waiting. Up on the top of the hill is the place, rejoicing in the name of the Wilderness Cafe. The convoy reckons to join forces here. 150 miles of hard driving with a heavy load behind makes you feel you've earned a break. Especially when you know you've as much to come again, and the whole thing back tomorrow. We boys with the pump were smiling. Nothing to grumble about and well up in front. Let's be fair though, these are not the stragglers. The foreman always travels last in case of trouble and casts an eye over his faithful flock. For us drivers, the stint will end at Kendal, about 150 miles down the road. For the lorries, however, add on another 90 or so. For them, over 200 miles still in front. Machines like that need looking after, and so do we. Sooner or later up here, the talk gets round to the most dangerous main road in Britain, Shap. That's still 120 miles ahead of us, and it's not going to look like this at 1:30 in the morning, which is when we go over. But night or day, rain or shine, no driver will take a chance on Shap. Lose control, and you might as well forget about the market in the morning. And if you get too cocky, which you don't, there are plenty of reminders to bring it home to you, exactly where you are. Or rather, where you've no wish to be. It's wild country even in summer, but man, if you want to know how wild, you must see it in winter. You hear men speak of the comradeship of the road. Up here in winter, it's more than a phrase. Nature will see to it you stick together, if you're not already stuck. Road transport is no fair weather excursion. It's an all the year round service. It's easier to say than it is to carry out. Still, you can't afford to miss the market with many tons of fresh fish aboard. But tonight's a summer's evening and we're deep in Lanarkshire by now. I told you it was beautiful. We're near the upper reaches of the Clyde. You'd hardly credit yon little river could launch the Queen Elizabeth. Now evening deepens, and with a good meal inside us, we're pressing on through Abington and very soon up Beatock Summit. 30 miles to the border. and the lights of passing friends are all there is to break the monotony. After 200 miles alone, a man likes a little human contact. Just north of the border is our last stop. Once again, we try to get together if no one's had a breakdown. Every lorry carries a towing bar just in case, with the foreman, as I said, behind to organize things. The time now is almost midnight, but you'd hardly think so by the noise. Anything will do for a leg pull, and they wanted to know what it felt like to be working in the cause of science. I gave them hard facts. The pump was running like a charm and felt as good as an extra gear at times. The proof of the pudding was in the eating, I told them, so get on with your supper. From here, for us drivers, the last lap is in front. 50 miles or so to Shap, and then Kendal, with Gretna Green, the border, and Carlisle in between. For the lorries, 140 still to go. Haste ye back. It could be the fish run's motto. Down into England and all the way back tomorrow. Carlisle behind us now, and a very good fast road through Cumberland. Soon it will be wild country, and when we come to Penrith, we know we were getting up to 1,300 feet and Shap. It's then you feel relieved that last night someone worked on your lorry way back in Aberdeen. Someone who cared about their job. Ours is a big fleet, and it has to be done thoroughly if wagons are to stand up to the daily pasting ours get. The fish run is a savage test for any moving part, including fuel pumps. Any troubles, and believe me, this is the route to bring them to light. 270 miles since we left Aberdeen. For me, it's journey's end, but not for the lorries or for the pump under test. With someone else at the wheel, they go on, as they always do, on into the dawn. By the time dawn breaks on the Lake District, the fish run is well on its way into Lancashire. Some for Liverpool and others for Manchester. For the lorries of the fish run, another journey is almost done. The market's waiting, as it is every morning. The world's got a mighty appetite for fish that has to be satisfied, and it's not our fault if towards 6 in the morning that fish isn't being trundled into Manchester fresh from Aberdeen. It's a matter of principle, of pride if you like. And speaking of pride, a word about that pump. It was not to do with me, but for the record, it came through with flying colours, sticking it out month in, month out, to quote the book, on the most arduous, regular, heavy transport run in Britain. By now, you'll have gathered, I refer to the fish run.